So thank you, Karen, for keeping us on track. So I'm back, guys. And thank you in the back also for all that you do and for those who are tuning in via Facebook. So as you know, this morning I'm talking about order. But those of you who may be new to unity, I just want to say that there are 12 powers of man that are across 12 months with 12 disciples. And each month has something like love and faith. And so this morning and this month of September, it is order. And so one of the things I want us to be reminded of is that with everything happening in the world, what seems chaotic, all the pandemics and things, staying centered and peaceful and powerful by praying, it takes effort. So this morning, this talk is purely about reminding ourselves of our human conditions and our role in co-creating our lives while celebrating our divine mind and heart consciousness. What do we mean by order and unity? The power of order is the ability to organize, sequence, balance, and adjust. Notice that last word, adjust. It works with the power of love. And what we affirm for order is the Christ in me is active and activate perfect order. My spiritual path unfolds in the proper sequence. Divine timing and order are now established in my life. I give thanks for the faculty of order. And metaphysical meaning is that the divine idea of order is ideal of adjustment. And as this establishes the individual thought, our mind, and our affairs will be one with universal harmony. Cora Fillmore, she left us a quote from 1937 that said, "Understanding divine order, I can embrace paradox and navigate chaos while keeping my balance." Yet, sometimes, if we're in different company who's not of a unity mindset and we say, all is well, people look at you like you're crazy and go, what the heck are you talking about? Everything is in divine order. What are you talking about? And I can sense the last couple of years that we've gone through with the pandemics and all the other social and political issues, it makes us feel disoriented. It makes us lose our sense of order. And this is difficult. It is said that we live in a VUCA world, which means volatile, uncertain, challenging, and ambiguous. And this was a military term that was created because you wake up one morning and you turn on your television or listen to the radio and the world has drastically changed, hasn't it? And so we're living in times where we get this information constantly, and it affects us as humans. When your world is not the same, and your work is not the same, and your worship are not the same, you can lose your sense of orientation. You can lose the sense of order. In New Thought spiritual realms and organization, again, we love to say everything is in divine order. But can you really imagine responding in a way to someone who's just gone through a crisis? Now, I want you to know about me first that I am a romantic who is practical with an optimistic lean, knowing that I have to walk on faith. So whatever that means, I don't walk around believing that things are just some magical space that things happen. I believe in the practical as well. What this means is there are moments in my own life where I absolutely feel overwhelmed. I feel like I'm sinking in cold, deep waters, but only for moments. When I have those feelings, I've trained my body to immediately take a deep breath, and that brings me back to the notion that I am loved. You may ask, what causes you to go that way? What causes you to feel so helpless? Well, an email a phone call, another test, walking the dog, fixing dinner, not getting what Lemuel wants in reality versus what is in Lemuel's mind causes me to do that. And it's not one of those things. It's a combination of all of those things, isn't it? But notice, too, you may say, I cause my own suffering in those moments by not being able to just immediately let it go. And that's a Buddhist thought. But I'm so thankful I've trained my mind in those moments when I feel overwhelmed, just to take a deep breath. But in those moments, most of us forget the power that we've been left with, our divine right to co-create our lives. I believe forgetting that simple notion is our ultimate loss and despair, the loss of our connectedness. The loss involves allowing ourselves to forget who we are and whose we are. So in the midst of what seems like infinite chaos, my question to all of you is, how do you know without a doubt that everything is in divine order? How do you really know? Could you look at a mother who's just lost her child and say everything is in divine order? We often say, I'm sorry, God is in control, but the fact of the matter is we don't have the words sometimes. Could you say everything is in divine order to a partner of a teacher who has just been shot inside of a school, a place of employment? Is that divine order? Well, let me tell you a story about someone I met at Big Sky Retreat, which is in Big Sky, Montana. Her name is Allie Benjamin, and you may have heard of her. She is a New Thought minister, and she had a son named Adam. She loved him dearly. They did a lot together. He was full of life. But one afternoon, she came home. She opened the door to look for him and couldn't find him. Then she went into the backyard and she found him. He had hung himself from a telephone pole. And she said, you appreciate the darkness. You don't necessarily get over it, but you go through it to your becoming, which makes the darkness necessary and sacred. For without it, there is no understanding, compassion, growth. And she said, you don't break, you just crack a little bit to let the light come in. Or Allie has stated, she says, I was not broken, but broken open to allow new growth and understanding, and a new identity emerged with a new purpose in her life. And I think we need to be mindful of that when we think about the order and divine order. So where do you go to remind yourself that there is only love, and this love is divine order? My approach has been stillness. I get still, and I listen, and I remember who I am. To remember that divine order is the essence that pull the planets together to create the solar systems and galaxies. It is that which empowers the sun to shine upon our sacred planets. It is within each of us, every one of us. It is the presence that enables us to wake up this morning. It is that which makes our heart beat and have our breaths. Divine order is ever present, filling the beauty and the horrific, the growth and the decay of life. It is God, the source, the divine, the infinite, whatever you may call it. It is so incredible, we can never put words into it. To think about some of the things the Bible say about order, for God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about the divine inspired word here. Let all things be done decently and in order. We all know that all things work together for good for those who love the divine. But I also like to pull from certain mystics. And the mystic Rumi wrote, out beyond ideas and wrongdoing and right doing. There is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideals, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. I invite you to join us in that field beyond belief and non-belief, judgments and ideologies, beyond binaries and dichotomies, dualities and polarities, beyond divisions of you and me and others. This field, as you wish to offer it, is a state of being, a space to release occlusions that prevent us from receiving the voices of others, to forgo the need to corroborate of our opinions, judgments, and assumptions, a state that releases the ego to allow receptivity to flow. The field we envision is expansive, wholehearted, spacious, and right here in this moment. If all is God and all is love, then all is necessary to bring us to divine consciousness. If you need another concrete example, I like to think of farmers. Farmers go year after year putting things in the ground and have faith that whatever is going to grow, something's going to come up. And I think that's really important to remember. But also we have the Buddhists who say that we were born and we are going to suffer some in this life. You are going to experience disappointments, health issues. That's part of life. We don't escape it. But for me, when I think of divine order, I think of the man looking in the mirror. When I look into the mirror, into my own brown eyes, and think about the cycle of life that I've been through, everything I've been through, and I can stand in that moment and look at the person and love the person who's looking back, that's divine order to me. Because it means accepting the trauma, accepting the good, accepting the bad, and being able to rise above it and not be broken, but just cracked to let the light in. We must be reminded to be kind to ourselves and others in despair. You don't have to shame people by constantly saying in unity what you affirm and what you focus on is what you get. Not always. To know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are indeed loved. All is well. Stay in gratitude. To know that all is in order. I really don't understand it all. I study it and I read it. I know metaphysics. But I trust in the powers to be. And I can tell you that my life is full of many miracles. And I continue to believe that there are no coincidences, that things happen for a reason. Timber Harkeye, who is a Buddhist and the creator of the Buddhist podcast, likes to say, forget being a producer of your life, be the leading role. Dwayne Dwyer likes to say, no, you have to be the producer of your life, and you can write your scripts and invite other leading people into it. But I also like what Louise Hay has to say and reminds us about honoring the entirety of our journey, not just a moment when things happen. And what she says is, we have to remember that we're like little threads woven in a blanket. You may pull one of those threads out. It affects all the others, but it doesn't fall apart. Be open to the light operating within you and through you. Be open to what is happening to other people. Be the light, divine revealing light to help people see that all things are working together in ways we may not understand. So in closing, I just want to share a little of the daily word from 9:2. I'm reminded of grace. I trust in the process of right outcomes. When I want my crooked road to become straight, or my bumpy journey to become smooth, I pray for divine order. While affirming divine order does not specify a desired outcome, it helps me to yield to the divine. And part of this divine order is being flexible enough to adjust, to be amenable to what comes in your life. And so what I wish for you this week is to know without a doubt, whatever comes up in your life is divine order, and to run with it, to play with it, and to be sensitive, to let what you thought should have happened, just let it go and keep moving. I am so thankful to be here with you today, Unity, and look forward to many, many, many more visits. It's always a blessing to be here. Thank you.